On today's video, I'll show you my second attempt at making an on-air light.
This is the Old Guy Network.
Yep.
Welcome back to the Old Guy Network. I'm the old guy, the OG, Jay, and it is a beautiful day in the trailer hood, and I've been a little busy in the shop. We've had some pretty decent days, so I was able to get out there and work a little bit. Now, a few weeks ago, I made a sign for a friend of mine. It's just an on-air light, and it came out really nice, and it came out so nice, I wanted to have one for myself, but I wanted to make it a little bit different. And that's what I did, and that's what this video is all about, and I'm going to show you how I did it. Back out in the shed where it's nice and toasty, and as you can see, I'm starting another one of those lights, those on-air lights that I made. Okay, be better to have three hands or actually use the tripod right now. But basically what I did was I cut these 1 foot long. They're about, well, I think they're 3.5 inches. I can't remember, to be honest with you. 3 inches. I cut these 3 inches deep, 12 inches long, and then I measured down about 1.25 inches and then did a 22.5 degree cut on both sides. Now on the inside ones, I just measured in about 1.5 inches on each side, and I did a cutout, and that will house the on-air light. And this might actually be an actual light. So that's pretty simple what I did. Now I'm changing up the design just a little bit. Instead of making every other one shorter on the sides, I'm just going to groove those so they look more like the lights that I was around when I was in radio. I think it's going to look pretty cool though. Now the next step is to glue all these pieces together. My wood is not as dry as it could be, so it's starting to curl up just a little bit, so I'm going to wait on gluing them and see what happens, and I may have to run these through the joiner again. But that's okay if I have to do that. We'll see. And remember, there's going to be grooves in between each one, so if they separate just a little bit at the ends, it's not a big deal. As a matter of fact, it would be kind of helpful. So I'm gonna wait, and I'm gonna see if they stay straight after I dry them out a little bit, and then I'll glue them up in here because it's just too cold in the shed. While I'm waiting for this to dry, I just want to explain why did I cut this at 22.5 degrees on each side. Well, the actual lights are rounded here, but I don't have a bandsaw. My scroll saw is not working worth a damn. The jigsaw is just doesn't do a good enough job. So basically what I'm going to do is, after this is all glued together and nice, I'll just use a sander and I'll sand that down so it's a little curved. Won't be exactly a radius. The last light wasn't either, but I think it adds something to it, and I can round off the corners and round this off real nice with the sander. All I'm going to do now is take my triangle file and just go over the grooves and try to get everything as uniform as I possibly can. And yes, I probably should have clamped this down first. It would have made it a lot easier, but I didn't think of that. And so I could work the wood just a little bit easier, I put it in my vise so I could try to make the grooves a little more uniform on the sides, and the light was just a little bit better over here. Now just a quick shot with the air compressor, and we should be able to move on to the next step, which could be sanding. Before I started the sanding, you can see where the arrows are. I actually cut that at another 45-degree angle just to make it a little more curved, and then I started to sand it down, and I used 80 grit to start with the palm sander, then I went to 120, and then finished it off with 400. After finishing up with the sanding, I just hit it again with the air compressor, and we're on to the next step. I decided not to make it into an actual light, same as the first one that I did, and what I did is make this front piece to go right in the front there, and we'll keep that natural looking so it looks more like a light. It has a nice contrast. Then with a clean dry cloth, I added the red mahogany stain to it, and just let that dry. And here is the first coat of poly that I added to it, and if you look at the piece on where the arrow is, you'll see that it's not completely covered. Well, that's because the light is going over that, so no sense wasting the poly. Now, after the poly was dry, I was going to actually buff that out a little bit, maybe add another layer and then buff that out. I didn't need to. It actually came out really, really nice. And the last thing that I had to do was put the decal on, which a friend of mine, Nicole, she made the last one for Mike. She also made this one for me, so thank you very much. I appreciate that. And basically it's just a vinyl transfer, and that went on the front, and then I just used some double-sided tape to hold the front onto the light. Now, the light is not 100% finished. In order to finish it, I just have to attach the base to the light itself. But I can show it to you. There it is. Let's see if we can move in on this a little bit. Let's see. Look at that. And it's nice and shiny. And as you can tell, there is a difference here. I just made it look more like the original lights, the ones that we actually had in the studios that I worked in. Anyway, they look more like that. I don't like it as well. I like the original one that I made for Mike better. And, you know, that's too bad because I'm not making another one. Not for me, anyway. I will make more for other people if they want them. They're pretty easy to make. Takes a couple of days because you have some drying time with the poly. I don't like to use the fast drying poly. I don't think it works as well. I don't think it adheres as well. And it's when you buff it, it's for me, it's not as good. I like the slow drying stuff. So it takes a couple of days to make one of these. But if I ever make another one or a couple of them for friends of mine, because I have a lot of friends that were in broadcasting, some actually have YouTube channels, and they might like something like that too. So you never know. But if I do it again, I'm going to go back to the old style. I like it better, and that's just my personal preference. What do you think? Leave me a comment and let me know which one you like. We'll put them both up here. We'll put this one and a picture of this one. And what do you think? Which one is the better of the two? And while you're at it, if you're going to comment anyway, you might as well hit that like button. Might as well hit that share button. And for crying out loud, would you subscribe to the channel? I really would appreciate that. I'm almost at 400 subscribers right now. I think I'm 5 short. So that would be an awesome thing. That's going to do it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you around the trailer hood next time. For the Old Guy Network, I'm the Old Guy. I'm the OG, and I'm out.